For this video, I am going to be playing some games on everybody's favorite deck, and that is Zed Elusives. Now, I joke about it being everyone's favorite deck, but I'm playing this because a while ago I did a video showcasing 5 decks you can play to reach Master. This was one of them. In the video where I highlighted the decks, it was all me talking through the decks and the card choices. There was no gameplay, and I promised in future videos I'd show you gameplay. I'm a man of my word. So that's it. We're going to play 2 games with this deck on the ladder, so you can see it in action. I'm sure that most of you are already pretty familiar with the list and what it's trying to do, but I'm a man of my word. Hey, maybe you're not. Maybe you're not familiar at all. You're new, in which case, hello, welcome. Thank you for checking out the channel. But also, maybe this will be beneficial. All right, so we really want to find Omen Hawks early, but we want some semblance of early game. We're going to keep that and ship the rest. Just trying to find... Hey, an Omen Hawk. Now, I'm also just going to be straight up honest and say... I don't know if this is going to be control. I don't know if this is going to be mid-range. So we're going to have to play this kind of... I don't know. Conservative, timidly. Because I see Thresh and Tryndamere, and those usually say to me... control, but there's been so much mid-range Shadow Isles floating around, at case in point that it's kind of hard to tell.
The Yordle here's with me.
Well, there's nothing we can do about this. It can attack and we can't block because Fearsome is a thing. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. Now, Vile Feast is also a thing, and we could theoretically protect against it if we instead play the Omen Hawk. Save these for later. And I think that's fair. Let's actually do that. It leaves us with mana for Elixir in case they do have the Vile Feast, and then that allows us to protect ourselves here. The other option, again, was Shadow Assassin, but... swinging with the other 2 means... that, you know, if they block this with their Mist Wraith, they lose it. I don't think that's what they want to do. And there is the Vile Feast. And there is our answer, so... Again, playing a bit conservative instead of going balls to the wall, but when you don't know what you're up against, it's probably safer that way, and let's be honest, if you're playing against Shadow Isles, you know what you're up against. And the answer to that question is 100% Vile Feast. That card is outstanding for a reason.
Silent as death.
Now, this is a great play for us as well, because this can potentially block the Mist Wraith. And then if they have another Vile Feast, then we can Elixir. If they have Mark of the Isles, then, I mean, hey, we made them use it. I kind of almost want to block this here as well, but this is only until end of turn. But then they can just turn around and block us with that anyway. So I could go either way with this. I mean, at some point, we kind of want to get rid of that spider. Will be dangerous. We'll take it. If we're going to end up playing Wayfinder at some point, cleaning up some of our bench is also semi-relevant. Alright, so Black Spear is not something we can protect against. So we do get a little bit punished for making the trade, but we also at least ate premium removal in the form of Black Spear, so we're just gonna go ahead and play a Wayfinder.
Eyes open. Watch your branches.
Because it really pumps this up, and then we can even come down with this. Oh, they have another Skitterer. So Skitterer number 2, you know, not something that you're excited to see, not something you want to see, but
They picked the wrong row.
and we'll swing with these just because that one's a 4.
Let's
Second
go.
Skitterer is bad times. Is this another Vile Feast as well? Man, they're full of answers over there. Of course, I'm sure my opponent thinks the exact same thing of us. They've had 2 Vile Feasts, we've had 2 Elixirs, so they're probably equally as annoyed, but we didn't have double Skitterer. I mean, that just seems amazing to me. Alright, so there is a Thresh. Thresh is going to eat something, and there's not much we can do about it, but we can. So interesting thing about this is if you're playing it and you're going to bounce something, it will still let you bounce it. I actually think we're going to pass. Sorry, I'm also fighting a sneeze. The reason we pass there is because we don't want Thresh to eat this, but we did want to develop it. The question now is, like, do you want to bounce an Omen Hawk, or do you want to bounce something you can play later for elusive damage? Because our next turn we're gonna lead off for sure with this as well. I think we bounce something that we want to play for elusives. We'd love to develop this on top of this particular unit, but then we have no room to play the hatchling. So sadly, we're just going to end up passing here and pray they don't have a 3rd Skitterer to try to shut us down. Zed's an okay pickup as well. So if they do have answers, we have a lot of firepower back, but we go with this. Even if they have something like a Vengeance for our 6/5, we're pushing a lot of damage at them, which means they're going to have to sacrifice the majority of their board. Now they could, again, I see Thresh, I see Tryndamere. This could be a control deck, right? So they could answer with a Ruination. But I think that's a risk that you kind of have to take here. All right. We're going to go with the attack. They still have 7 back, so again, Vengeance possible against our elusives. They could have something that just gains health as well. It could be like Grasp, Withering Wail. Grasp would be a big one because they could kill an elusive and also heal. And they're going to use an Atrocity. Well, the good news is that was not used to kill us. So, I guess what's that? Now this Thresh is going to level, which is obviously not great for us. But again, even if this fetches Tryndamere or Hecarim, as long as they don't have another Atrocity, we should be in an okay position. And they did just use 1 Atrocity. So they're going to play Tryndamere, so that means it's likely going to find a Hecarim. We're going to play this. Anything we play here is just going to end up being a blocker, but we're going to play this one specifically because it draws us a card, and we're hunting for something like Will of Ionia to just bounce Tryndamere. So, of the options, that's our best. All right. Here's going to come the Hecarim, and with it, a bunch of friends. So we're going to be eating likely 8 from that. We want to soak as much from here as possible, so we just do this. So we're going to be taking 8, 9, so we'll be down to 6. We do have a deny if they try to hit us with a 2nd Atrocity, though. We have this plus another elusive unit as well. So on the off chance that they do have like a Vengeance for this, we can kind of just slow play this next turn. We want to play that on our turn. We might as well just play this Zed now as well.
Not fear the shrouded path.
I walk your path alone.
Because we can't bank spell mana anyway. Alright, our opponent's going to have 3 cards. Will of Ionia is a great pickup.
Quietly.
But this gives us, again, a 2nd elusive, and that is enough to get the surrender. So, a little bit scary there, specifically with the Thresh leveling up, but we managed to push through. We're going to play one more game, and Again, just going to show off the deck so you get a feel for it, assuming that you have not yet piloted this particular list. All right, so we're going to be going into game 2, and this is going to be an aggressive list. It's either going to be heavily trying to play on like Lucian and Senna, or it might be Ephemeral, or a bit of a combination. Anytime you see Hecarim there, you got to assume that's part of the plan. And we're actually going to keep all of this. This is the only card you might consider tossing back, but when you run into issues with either Senna or Hecarim, like this is a great tempo option for dealing with them. And we've got a solid curve otherwise. So what I mean specifically is if they play a Lucian and a Senna, sometimes they kill the Lucian to trigger the Senna. Usually they would prefer to kill Senna to trigger Lucian, but if it's in the other direction, bouncing the Senna, it's incredibly effective.
Hey, Krabby.
That's my resting face.
We did get a buffed up Zed, so that's nice. And they're just passing all the way around, so that's great for us. They might have a bit of a bricked hand, which we'll happily welcome. Here we'd like to develop Zed. Nothing that we can play here, and Elixir survives this, so we're just going to play our Zed. Set ourselves up for an open attack next round.
Go ahead. Scare me.
I also think, no, they could play, you know, multiple marks here, but we're still at full health, so I think we just let this through. And there's a Butcher, and again, that's the sort of thing that they would like to do with the Lucian on the board, but right now what they're gonna do is end up playing Black Spear on our Zed, and we don't have the mana to protect it. But Butcher, I gotta be honest, was not one of the cards that we were kind of playing around. At 3 mana, you might expect them to have like Glimpse, but they can't Glimpse and Black Spear, so it felt like a relatively safe play at the time. But it turns out I'm just wrong, so sometimes that happens.
Everything's better with company.
Now we're just going to try to push more elusive damage. We're going to save the rest of our mana here for the
Let's move.
elixirs. This is just a beautiful chump blocker in this matchup. So we're going to save this for Senna on the off chance they find something, or we'll save it for, you know, Lucian, whatever. This can save us a lot of damage. One of the other things that we worry about in these particular matchups is Relentless Pursuit, for example. We're just gonna take the chump block now. We don't want to get too low. And we're gonna play the Jeweled Protector. Protector allows us to block this and survive if they play a Relentless Pursuit. But also, by buffing this, we can potentially threaten lethal next turn. So, it's going to be a Glimpse here, and then they might have another Black Spear. But if they try to hit the 4-2, we can at least defend it. So, the 3-1 we cannot save. There's the Black Spear, and it does go towards the 4-2. So we will happily take it to 4 health. And now at 2 mana left, they could have another Black Spear, or they could have Vile Feast. Vile Feast would, you know, not be great for us, but there's no way for us to play around it at the moment. All right, and they're going to go with the Bird. So we're going to do this. And if they don't have an answer for the Elusives, we might even just outright see a concede here. Because that's enough to threaten lethal. We could try to push even more. The fact that they passed kind of telegraphs, hey, I do have an answer for your Elusives. Again, Vile Feast might be the play. If they Vile Feast this, and they're at effective health of 12, playing at least one more unit means this swings for 4, 9, 10, 11, which would not be enough for lethal. At 7, they could also have something like Vengeance. I think this is still the correct play, though. Because if they have it, there's nothing we can do to stop it. But at least doing this gives us the most opportunities to push as much damage. Now, if they have the Vengeance, they were going to use it in our 5 attack anyway, and we get the Surrender. So that's it. Again, pretty straightforward. You're used to seeing the list. If you have not seen the list, you know, I hope this video helps you. But it's all about tempo and just trying to push as much damage as possible. It's pretty straightforward. Anyway, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching the videos. Hopefully I'll catch you watching more videos in the future.